Parents, have you ever thought about the whole family getting scanned? Maybe when you think of Thrive, you think of a kid struggling with big neurodevelopmental struggles, sensory or emotional regulation challenges, and that's who we help. Or you think of a baby who's struggling to latch, they're colicky, they're fussy, they're not pooping, or a pregnant mom who's trying to have the most empowering, positive experience possible. Listen, those are all people that we love taking care of, but did you know the majority of Thrive, the majority of our practice, the patients we care for every single day, it's full families. It's full families who are doing their best to make sure that the foundation of every aspect of their health, their nervous system, is at its best. So let me explain what that is, and let me explain what the 3 different scans that we use are, and how that can really help unlock any sort of health goal or any sort of health challenge that you're dealing with your family. Because maybe it is a struggling kid. That's oftentimes how it starts, right? When somebody first reaches out, it's because there's a problem, because there's a pain point or an issue going on with the family. And then what it turns into is like, well, I wonder what's going on with this kid. I wonder what's going on with my own hormones or stress regulation or anything else. So let me walk you through these 3 scans and how they are really at the root of us looking deeper and measuring how are we functioning, how are we handling life right now. Let's talk about this. The first scan that we have here, this is the neurothermal scan. This scan is measuring skin temperature. We're looking for symmetry in how well our brain is regulating blood flow. What that's going to give us really good insight into is different hormonal regulation struggles, gut and inflammatory processes, and just how well our body is handling those regulation systems. We can do that on a newborn all the way up through any age range. There's no radiation, there's no challenges with pregnancy or concerns like that. That is the one scan that we will get for every single kiddo. Even if it's a highly dysregulated, nonverbal kid on the spectrum, we're always able to do at least a mini version of that thermal scan. And that's our starting point. That's what gives us a really good idea of how well their nervous system is regulating stress. Next scan that we love using, this is our EMG, this SEMG or surface electromyography. This is measuring how well your brain and body are communicating when it comes to regulating postural tone. When you're just sitting, when you're just at rest, your body should be spending just the right amount of resources on fighting against gravity. It's really that Goldilocks effect of not too much, not too little. And we want to see how well that information is regulated. This is going to help us show where sensory dysregulation challenges are showing up, or focus and ADHD concerns, anxiety, high energy, overstimulation. That the metrics that we get from that EMG scan, the total energy, the pattern scores, and the symmetry scores really help us put a number to that and put pen to paper to where are we at right now, and then how can we see it progress, how can we see it change and improve as we go throughout care. That's a scan that we do for almost all of the families in our practice. The really only one that struggles with that is some of the sensory kiddos, the high energy ones. We're not able to do this until they're usually 2 or 3, maybe 3 to 4 for a neurotypical kid. But it does require just sitting in a chair. And so some of our perfect storm kiddos, that is impossible for them. We don't get to do this at the start of care. Usually as we go throughout that process, as they start to regulate better, they start to adapt to life better, then we can add that in. Last scan here that I want to mention is called HRV. Heart rate variability. For adults or older kiddos, the hand goes in the sensors here. For the babies or the little ones, there's an ear clip sensor or attachment that goes super light on their ear. This helps us regulate or helps us measure how your body is regulating stress. Are we in fight or flight? Are we in a more balanced state? Where's our nervous system at? We need to be in a balanced, regulated state. We need to be able to handle whatever life throws our way. That neuroadaptability is the core of everything else. You'll hear us referred to as the gas pedal versus the brake pedal balance. The 2 different aspects of our nervous system there need to be working in sync, or else there's going to be a whole mess of downstream consequences from energy, hormone dysfunction, inability to really fall asleep at night or focus in school, gut and immune system challenges. It's all going to get thrown off if that gas versus brake balance is off. So these 3 scans taken together give us a really, really amazing look into how well is our nervous system handling life, how well is the brain and body adapting to stress, so that we can figure out what's the game plan we need, what's the personalized adjustment protocol that that person needs to make sure that that foundational operating system is doing what it's supposed to do, so that then everything else you're doing, whether it's therapies or just nutrition, maybe counseling or therapy, whatever other interventions and wellness habits you have in your life, they're going to be more impactful, and you're going to get way more out of them when you have that solid core, that solid foundation of a healthy, regulated nervous system. So if you've never had that thought, if you've never wondered, I wonder what my kid or my own nervous system is doing, you've just thought about the problem or the really challenged kiddo or individual in your family, I would encourage you to think beyond that, right? The preservation of health is easier than the cure for the disease. There's a huge difference between just not sick and healthy. Sure, we love it when people are symptom-free, when they're not dealing with any specific challenges, but there's a huge gap between no symptoms and really thriving, really being at our best. And that's what we get to see. We get to look deeper with scans and make sure that we're accomplishing those bigger, deeper goals and not just treading water, right? Not just keeping our head above water. And it really is a massive impact when we do that. I always say it's a 1 + 1 = 11 sort of relationship when the whole family heals and is feeling better together. So don't neglect that. Don't rate yourself off, moms and dads, and don't feel like, oh, because this kid is fine, they don't need to care for their nervous system. Don't skip it. So if you're wondering, reach out. Schedule something with our team. Give us a call. If you're in the office already, bring it up next time you're at the practice. We always have special opportunities for families in Thrive to do those new patient scans for any immediate family members at greatly discounted options. So now is the time to do it, guys. Get your family checked. Make sure that their nervous system is crushing it. Hope it helps. See you soon.